Ladies and gentlemen, I could not sleep last night because I was thinking too much about watches. I had my journal and I was making a list of all the watches that I might sell, all the Seikos I might sell. I'm thinking of jumping the Seiko ship. I'm not drinking the Seiko Kool-Aid anymore. It's been a gradual thing, and then I got a letter from Lee, and this letter seals the deal. I'm going to read it to you if I can. Maybe it will be a two-part letter. Maybe I'll do it in two parts because this is an epic topic. Let me tell you guys something. About 7 years ago, I weaned myself off of TV brand watches, big giant clown watches, and I moved to Seiko. And the thing about Seiko is three things. They look really good, they have really good prices, and they have really good lume. And so that combination made me drink the Seiko Kool-Aid. But the thing is, I've noticed a lot of faults with Seiko over the years, and I think this email that I received from Lee seals the deal. Lee is no longer drinking the Seiko Kool-Aid. He's actually suffering an identity crisis over Seiko. I don't suffer an identity crisis. I've left the Seiko ship myself. I'm still a fanboy for the 051. And I would actually consider getting another one of these in blue. There's an 055. It's called the Patty, and I like the wave on the dial. It's a limited edition, but I don't like the word patty on the dial. Cow patty, hamburger patty, forget it. I think I just like the 053. It's just sort of a dark blue. And what's amazing is this is really the only Seiko I can recommend. Now the tunas are good, but they're Hardlex crystal and they're quartz battery. I don't know. And at that price point, I don't know. I don't know. There's a controversy in my head over that, and I'm sure you guys could weigh in on the tuna. But man, after I read Lee's email last night, I just wanted to sell all my tunas. Now he bought an Omega Planet Ocean 45.5 millimeter. I like those. I don't know if he got the chronograph or the non-chronograph. I do like the chronograph a lot, but honestly, I like my Orient Saturation Diver for that style of watch. You know, and after reading his email, I try to think of what would I do if I sold most of my Seikos for a luxury watch. It's tough. I think my favorite luxury watch is probably at a price point of under $3,500, which is what it would have to be for me, is the Omega Seamaster blue dial. The size is about 41.5 millimeters. Some people selling them state them at 42 millimeters. Really like to try one on first. Could be a size issue. But I mean, to get the blue version of this, what's funny is when I got this 051, my first thought was Omega, and so Lee is let me start reading this, man. This is brilliant. It's one of the most brilliant emails I ever got. I believe Lee is retired from Apple Computer. I get a bunch of these smart engineers on my channel. God bless them, man. I got a lot of smart people on this channel. So let me read this to you, and this explains why he left Seiko. He's no longer drinking the Seiko Kool-Aid. May have to do this in two parts. As you know, I just bought a used Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean. It is everything that I had hoped it would be. Yes. Has it stopped the desire for more watches? Yes and no. Has it triggered an identity crisis? Yes. Let me explain. Ever since I got into the hobby 3 years ago and found your videos extolling the virtues of Seiko watches, I've considered myself a Seiko enthusiast first and foremost. I worked my way through the catalog of affordable divers, SXK, Monster, BFK, Sumo, Turtle, Samurai, Tuna, and made myself content, knowing that I had a very solid collection of watches with robust movements, the approval of other watch enthusiasts, and in general, a set of watches that could last a lifetime for any reasonable person. Your recent Citizen video touches on the subject a little bit, in that upon closer inspection, Seiko watches have a way of disappointing their owners, and they do, yes. Woohoo. My SXK 007 009 SRP 773 Turtle had misaligned chapter rings. The loom was sloppily applied on my Sumo, and it wasn't very accurate. The Samurai Blue Lagoon just didn't wow me due to all the conflicting blue tones. I had two tunas, the first Ninja 035, which got flipped because I couldn't bond with a black PVD coating, and later an 031 that I liked. But hard Lex got a scratch in it, and most irritatingly, the second hand didn't hit the minute index marks. Not a single one. Now, that's pathetic for a $1,000 watch. By the way, I would like to know, Lee, what circumstances were you in when you scratched your Hardlex crystal on your 031 tuna? Were you swimming? Were you just walking around the house? Because that's disturbing. All right, let's go on. I figured that these issues were the price one pays for staying in Tier 2 range, and that was just how it was. But none of the micro-brand watches I owned, Borealis, Deep Blue, Steinhardt, Christopher Ward, Armida, Dan Henry, had these issues. The bracelets had milled clasps, and the links held together with screws. The crystals were made of sapphire. The bezel inserts were often ceramic or sapphire, PVD coated stainless steel. The movements were high beat ETA or Solita or Miyota or STP. The fact that Seiko sells the 6R15 as a premium movement and a 50-hour power reserve is not very competitive. As I approach my 60th birthday this year, I had an epiphany. I was looking to purchase a milestone timepiece and search my soul for inspiration on what that would be if I put aside my natural aversion to spending a lot of money on one watch. Should I try an MM300? How about the SBDC 051? Perhaps the SLA 017? I realized that even these Seikos would most likely disappoint in some minor way. After all, my other Seikos have. I remember very distinctly your rejection of the MM300. Your praise about the SBDC 051 is very encouraging. But I know my taste would ultimately be let down by the lacquered aluminum bezel insert, the 6R15 movement, and the 20mm strap width. So what watch did I believe would not disappoint me? The only one that has consistently made me pine in adoration has been the Omega Planet Ocean. Every time I tried one on at a jewelry store, my heart would melt. And then the idea of spending that much money on a single watch whose unit price would exceed the sum total of all the other watches in my collection made me regretfully hand the watch back to the jeweler and made me leave the store knowing that there was no way I could ever justify such an extravagant purchase on myself. But since I have this wife-approved opportunity to actually now go out and spend money on myself in celebration of 6 decades on this planet with 3 well-adjusted children, I figured I could just flip the watch for very little financial loss if it didn't work out. So I found a gently used 45.5mm Omega specimen, about 10 years old, with a recent service for $2,300. I sold every single one of my Black Diver watches, which coincidentally cover the price of the Omega. So I don't even feel guilty about the purchase. I've been wearing it for 3 weeks now, pretty much non-stop. Is it as brilliant as I had hoped? Yes. I can find no faults with any of the kind. The winding action of the 2500 movement is the smoothest I've ever experienced. The crystal is almost invisible due to AR coating on both sides. The bezel turns so precisely there is a joy to exercise. The twisted lugs, the arrow hands, the deeply embossed hippocampus on the case back, eye candy for me that I never tire of. Simply fantastic. But what about my self-identity as a Seiko fanboy? It has been shattered. I feel somewhat sad about it and continue to look longingly at the Seiko catalog, hoping that I can find something to bring me back into the community. But I always come back disappointed after my searches. Maybe the new SPB077 will be a sumo replacement. If so, how can I justify the cost when I know I already have a better watch that exceeds it in every category? This is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Final page. He's not going to get a 077, no way. This circles back to one of your topics for a video you did a couple of years ago about how watch obsessives seem to revel in their misery. I got my dream watch, and instead of being happy, I feel sad that I've left the Seiko fold. Hey Lee, don't feel sad. Celebrate. You've grown, you've evolved. This is what you got to do, man. You're smart. You have a critical evaluation of Seiko. Don't be sad. In the past, I rejected the notion so often heard from watch snobs who told me that the only solution to your madness is a Rolex. I still don't agree with that, but an Omega Seamaster has taken me a little closer to that way of thinking. That's not very proletariat now, is it? No, I don't think this is a proletariat class issue. I think it has to do with art, artistry, craft. I think you've done the right thing, Lee. Yeah, I know, first world problems, but I'm writing about this to you because I think you understand how a watch obsessive builds a foundation. And now my foundation is gone. Yes, it is. Look, man, I'm with you. Seiko's gone for me too. I just like the 051. And so that's it, man. I think I want to congratulate Lee. I think those of you who told me that it's better to get a luxury watch are correct. And let's talk about this. Until next time, I'm out.